It's great to be with all of you. This is my first time to be with you since last night, and very proud to be here, to have the opportunity to speak with you and handle a few questions. But I want to be very clear. This is a tough mission that Nancy and I have accepted. The state is in dire shape, and we need to begin the process today of recreating Connecticut in a different economic model. We are confident that we can do that. We know that the people of Connecticut are strong and resilient, and that they are accepting of leadership, that they've chosen leadership. And we're very happy to provide that and have the opportunity to provide it. I also want to make one major announcement today, and that is that I have asked Tim Bannon to join me. Tim has a great background in government, as well as in the pharmaceutical industry and the insurance industry and the private practice of law. I've asked him to co-chair the transition team, to lead that with Nancy Wyman, my great running mate, and now the Lieutenant Governor-elect. And they will set about transitioning our Malloy Wyman team to being the governor and the lieutenant governor. I've also asked him to accept the responsibilities in the Malloy administration of being my chief of staff, and we so announced that today. Tim. Good. Do people applaud everything I say?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Get used to it.
I just asked him if people applaud everything I say now. I also should point out that over the last 2 years, Tim has played a lead role at CHFA in reshaping that agency. Has brought in millions of dollars of revenue to the state without the expenditure of any state funds being required, has led to the employment of many individuals, as well as providing great housing for those individuals. He shares a passion for housing that I have, and you can be assured that our administration will be much more promoting of the establishment of additional affordable housing opportunities in the future. And with that announcement that Nancy and I are beginning the transition, that the transition team will be shaped by these two individuals and led by these two individuals, and that Tim will accept the responsibilities I've asked him to accept. At that, I'd be happy to handle a few questions.
Mr. Malloy, are you confident that any potential challenges by Mr. Foley and the Republican Party will be failures? Because they contend that they are actually ahead by their own count, and they intend to challenge, or they're studying challenging potential or what they claim are irregularities in Bridgeport beyond the extra hours of voting.
Well, listen, I am quite confident that we're here for a reason. As you know, earlier today we released a press advisory with respect to our count. I know that will stand up. In fact, I suspect it'll grow.
You believe it's still 11,000? The Secretary of State thought it was only 3,100.
No, I'm standing behind those numbers. We have done a lot of work with respect to getting to that number, and I'm quite confident it will stand up and more likely grow than shrink.
Any comments about what happened in Bridgeport and people underestimating how many ballots should have been ordered? I know that the order has advised how that could happen. A lot of people want to know how they decide when the ballots happen.
Well, I can answer that in a much more calm fashion than I dealt with it yesterday afternoon when I was in my car. People make mistakes. That was a big one, but people make mistakes. And I'm sure that they're kicking themselves over it right now. I'm sure that the folks in Bridgeport wish they had handled it differently. I can assure you I wish it had been handled differently. I'm quite confident it cost me a number of votes, but we go on. And that, I think, really is a question for the mayor, his administration, and that separately elected political official to sort out.
Does your 11,000 total include absentee ballots?
In some cases it does, in some cases it doesn't. It's one of the reasons I think the numbers will grow.
Well, whether it's 11,000 or 3,100.
Or one.
Or one. If you are found to be the winner, you didn't win by a very large margin. What does that mean for a Malloy administration?
I want to be at least as good a governor as Abe Ribicoff was. I think he won by 3,000.
3,150.
There you go. You know, listen, there is a pride. I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
If there is a legal challenge by the Republicans here, how are you going to handle that issue as time marches on with your attempt at a transition?
We're transitioning, period. People have their own set of rights. I'm quite confident about what's going to happen and what the outcome is going to be. The people of the state of Connecticut expect an administration to take office on January 5th to deal with the massive issues that confront Connecticut, jobs, electric rates, balancing the budget. I've got to move forward. The people of Connecticut, I believe, hired me last night to do just that. I think they hired a great lieutenant governor to do that, and I think I made a great choice in chief of staff to do that.
Tom Foley just announced that he's got a transition team. Are you guys going to get together maybe and transition together?
Listen, God bless him.
Has Governor Rell accepted that you are the governor-elect?
I did. We have reached out to Governor Rell's office. I hope to speak with her soon. You all heard the Secretary of State say that we are the presumptive elected governor and lieutenant governor. I think that that'll become clearer in the even clearer in the coming hours.
Should the Secretary of State have waited to call you the presumptive governor until she had a better idea of what the actual numbers are? She couldn't even say how many absentee ballots were still out. If she had waited, would that have made this easier?
No, I think it is quite easy. That's why we released our numbers earlier today. We are confident of those numbers, and it's why we move forward today to, in a very formal way, begin the process of setting up a Malloy-Wyman administration, and I thought that that was an important message to get out today. Earlier today, we told you where we are on the numbers. Again, I'll say we're quite confident of that.
If you are eventually certified, the Republicans made some gain in the lower house of the General Assembly. Your vote was just about evenly split. You really have no mandate. You really have to reach out to the other party, do you not?
With all due respect, my mandate is that as a Democrat who was elected as the first Democrat to be elected to this office in 24 years. I'm fairly confident that I'm ready to govern, but I will remind you that I was mayor of a city for 14 years and served in a bipartisan way with Republicans on my Board of Finance, my Board of Education, and on my Board of Representatives. I'm quite confident that we can handle that challenge.
Who's in charge of your legal team to handle any questions that may arise during recount or related litigation?
If there's a recount or related litigation, we'll have a lawyer.
How do you expect to deal with the legislature, as Mark just said, some lower numbers? Obviously, the Democrats are still in control of the House and the Senate. What are your views going forward on dealing with the legislature?
I want to be very clear. I don't think the makeup of the legislature makes any difference about the size of the deficit. We're looking at up at $3.4, $3.5 billion deficit. Somebody's got to manage that. Somebody's got to wrestle it to the ground. That's what I ran for. That's the challenge that I accept. I'm excited about it, and I believe we'll be successful.
The problem is, Mr. Mayor, that the Secretary of State said was an unofficial lead at 3,100, and I think it was 2 votes, and you say 11,000. That's a wide difference. And if it is 3,100 and something, if there's challenges, it could very easily go below 2,000, which would require a mandatory recount. Are you prepared for that possibility?
It won't go there
Well, how can you be so confident?
because we've done our homework. You asked who the head of our legal team was.
Who is handling those duties for you, sir?
I have a group of lawyers and non-lawyers that I have consulted with. Right now, there is no challenge, and if there is a challenge, we'll have a team.
Didn't James Wade represent the Democratic Party in court last night?
I think he did.
Wouldn't he continue to do so?
He might.
What should the voters make of the spectacle of you and Tom Foley declaring yourselves the winner, announcing your transition teams? Neither one of you are the certified winner. The Secretary of State says she may not know till Friday. Is this just to sort of impress people? I mean, what should voters make of this?
I think what they should make of it is Dan Malloy and Nancy Wyman have been elected governor and lieutenant governor of the state of Connecticut. We're going to conduct the business. We're going to get ready for this administration that takes office on January 5th.